We spoke about forever like it was already ours. Every plan felt close enough to trust with open hearts. I thought the road before us would keep our love the same. I never knew two people could drift without someone to blame. Nothing broke in one moment, nothing ended in a fight. We just stopped reaching for the same tomorrow. You were my almost always, the future I could nearly see, close enough to feel like forever, but not enough to stay with me. Sometimes almost hurts the deepest, when it once felt so true. We tried to keep believing when our lives began to change. You needed room to find yourself, I needed something I could name. No one stopped the loving, but love began to lose its way. We were holding on to promises that no longer fit the days. I used to think if love was real, it had to somehow last. Now I know some beautiful things can still belong to the past. You were nearly see, close enough to feel like forever, but not enough to stay with me. You were my almost always, a love that almost made it through. And sometimes almost hurts the deepest, when it once felt so true. I don't regret believing that we could go all the way. What I felt was not less honest just because it had to change. Maybe we were meant to teach each other how deeply hearts can open. Maybe almost isn't failure when the love itself was real. You were my almost always, but I don't hold you like before. I can love the life we pictured without needing it anymore. You were my almost always, and that will always mean something true. We never reached forever, but for a while I believed in it with you. You were not my always. but never all I wanted to. I kept the deepest words inside and hope somehow you already knew. Whenever love came close enough to show me what I had to lose, I covered up my tenderness and called it being careful with you. You were never asking too much, I was only scared to fall. I thought protecting my heart would somehow protect us both. I wish I had loved you braver, held nothing back from you, said the words when they were burning, let you see my whole heart too. I wish I had loved you braver before a chance became the past. Not because I could have saved us, I just wish I had loved you without fear. You reached for me in honest ways, I answered halfway every time. You gave me room to tell the truth, but pride kept changing what was mine. I thought I needed to look stronger, to never let you see me break. Now I know the love I guarded was the very love I failed to give. I can see it with more kindness now, the girl I used to be. She wasn't cold or careless, she was frightened by how deeply she could feel. I wish I had loved you braver, held nothing back from you, said the words when they were burning, let you see my whole heart too. I wish I had loved you braver before a chance became the past. Not because I could have saved us, I just wish I had loved you without fear. If I could have one moment over, I wouldn't promise we would stay. I would only take your hands and tell you what I couldn't say. You mattered more than I admitted, I needed you more than I showed, and loving someone is not weak. we had. But I can change the way I love from here. I don't wonder where you are now, or who is holding your heart. I stopped waiting for a future that was never meant for us. But when your name returns to me, there is no anger left to tell. I stopped wanting you beside me, but I never stopped wishing you well. Some feelings fade to kindness when the longing finally ends. I never stopped wishing you well, even after I let you go. I hope life gives you something gentle enough to call your own. I don't need to know your story. I don't need you to come back. I never stopped wishing you well. Love just learned another way to last. There were days I thought forgiveness would mean forgetting what went wrong. Now I know I can remember without carrying it on. You were part of something precious, even if we had to part. And I can wish you happiness without reopening my heart. I never stopped wishing you well, even after I let you go. I hope life gives you something gentle enough to call your own. I don't need to know your story. I don't need you to come back. I never stopped wishing you well. Love just learned another way to last. I don't need to be remembered. I don't need one final sign. What was tender can stay tender without becoming mine. I never stopped wishing you well, and now it finally feels like peace. I can hope your heart is happy without asking it for me. I never stopped wishing you well. That is all I need to keep what was once a restless longing has become something gentle in me. I don't wait for you. I just hope life is kind to you. There was no final conversation, no sudden change inside the room. I only felt your memory lose the weight it used to hold. I thought letting go would break me or make our love seem less than true. But that night I could remember without reaching back for you. That was the night I let you go, not from anger, not from pain. I kept the love we once had and release the need to stay. I didn't erase your memory, I only gave my heart some room. That was the night I let you go, and found myself again. For years I carried every question, every word we left behind. Then the silence felt much softer, and no answer came to mind. I could bless the life we shared without wishing it returned. Some endings become peaceful when the heart is finally learned. I can love what we once were without living there again. I can hold the truth with kindness and still choose where my life begins. That was the night I let you go, when the past no longer called. I felt no need to turn around, no fear of losing all. I didn't stop remembering, I simply stopped holding on. That was the night I let you go, and the first night I felt whole. Your memory stayed, but the waiting was gone. A stranger sang about goodbye, and every word felt close to mine. The way he spoke of losing love brought back another place in time. I heard your laughter in the chords, your silence underneath the line. How could a song I'd never known remember you so well tonight? I heard our love in another song, every right and every wrong. Someone else was singing, but the story felt like ours. I knew those words were not for me, still they opened every memory. I heard our love in another song, and for a moment you were not gone. The melody knew where we broke, the promises we could not keep. It held the truth I never said, and carried it so easily. I used to think our pain was ours, too private for the world to know. But hearts can share the same goodbye in ways we never show. Maybe sorrow has one language, maybe love has one refrain. What felt lonely in my heart was living in another name. I heard our love in another song, and this time I could sing alone, not to bring the past back home, only to feel less alone. Someone else had known this same, someone else had watched love change. I heard our love in another song, and finally let the ending play. The music faded softly, but the truth stayed with me. Our love was ours, and still somehow the whole world knew the melody. You still held me like before, but something had begun to change. Your words were soft and careful, yet your heart felt far away. I tried not to believe it, tried to call it passing doubt, But every time I reached for you, I felt you pulling out. You never said goodbye, but somehow I already knew. I could feel you letting go, little by little, day by day. You were still beside me, but your heart was moving away. I could feel you letting go before the words were ever said. I kept loving what we had while you were leaving in your head. You stopped sharing all your worries, stopped reaching like before. The things that once came naturally didn't come so easily anymore. There was no one else to blame, no anger we could show, just a love becoming quieter as you slowly let it go. I could feel you letting go, little by little, day by day. You were still beside me, but your heart was moving away. I could feel you letting go before the words were ever said. I kept loving what we had while you were leaving in your head. Maybe you were trying to hurt me less somehow, but silence cannot hide what a heart already knows. I could feel you letting go, and now I understand. Sometimes love begins to end before we release each other's hands. I could feel you letting go, and I don't blame you anymore. We were holding to a feeling that had already changed its course. You said goodbye much later, but my heart had heard it first. I have changed in so many ways, more than I once thought I could. I learned to stand inside my own life, learned what leaving sometimes should. I have loved beyond our story, found new reasons to believe, but there is still one tender part that time has never asked to leave. It isn't longing for the old days, it isn't waiting for your call, it is simply knowing some love doesn't disappear at all. You were the love I never outgrew, even as I grew beyond us. Not the life I still belong to, just the love that changed my heart. You were the love I never outgrew, not because I couldn't move. I just never needed to forget what loving you once taught me to do. I don't compare you to another, I don't measure love that way. Every heart has its own language, every love deserves its place. But what we had became a marker, a truth I carried into time. It showed me how deeply I could feel without making me less mine. I used to think that growing older would make everything feel small. Instead, the years have taught me how to hold it without falling. You were the love I never outgrew, even as I grew beyond us. Not the life I still belong to, just the love that changed my heart. You were the love I never outgrew, not because I couldn't move. I just never needed to forget what loving you once taught me to do. Some love stays because it wounded, some because it made us whole. Ours remained because it showed me how much feeling I could hold. I don't need another ending, I don't need another chance. I can keep the meaning quietly and still keep moving on. You were the love I never outgrew, but I outgrew needing you near. I can treasure what we once were without living in those years. You were the love I never outgrew, and now I finally understand. Growing past a love is different from pretending it never mattered. I move beyond our story, but I never moved beyond what it taught my heart about love. I remember how we ended, words we never meant to keep. Two tired hearts became defensive, hurting where we once felt safe. For a while that final moment was the only thing I saw. I let one night of disappointment speak for everything we were. But love was more than how we lost it, more than anger, more than pride. There were years of something tender before we reached goodbye. We were better than our goodbye. mistake. There was kindness, there was laughter, there were hands that chose to try. I won't let the ending tell our story. We were better than our goodbye. You were there when I felt uncertain. I was there when you lost faith. We forgave more than we noticed, found each other through the strain. There were mornings full of promise, there were days we understood, and even when we disappointed, there was still so much that was good. I don't need to make us perfect, I know where we went wrong, but one broken final chapter cannot erase the whole song. We were better than our goodbye, better than the words we threw away, better than the final silence that made love look like a mistake. There was kindness, there was laughter, there were hands that chose to try. I won't let the ending tell our story. We were better than our goodbye. I forgive the way we left it, I forgive what anger said, not because it never hurt me, but because that wasn't all we had. I can hold the whole of us now, every beautiful and broken side. Love should not be remembered only by the way it died. We were better than our goodbye, better than the pain we left behind. We were two imperfect people who once loved with open hearts. I can let the ending rest now, without denying what was right. Whatever else the years may change, we were better than our goodbye. I won't remember only the moment we fell apart. Before goodbye, there was a love worth keeping in my heart. I thought goodbye would change me more completely than it did. I thought time would close the places where your love had once lived. But I still hear your kindness in the way I speak my truth, and every time I choose forgiveness, some part of it came from you. You are not here beside me, and I don't need you to be, but love can leave its meaning long after it sets us free. You never really left me, not in the ways that matter now. You're in the strength I found inside me, in the softness I allow. I don't mean I'm still waiting, I don't mean I can't move became part of who I am. You taught me how to listen when my fear was speaking loud. You showed me I could be uncertain and still deserve to be loved. Now I trust my heart more deeply. I don't hide the way I feel. Some of what you gave so gently still reminds me love can heal. I don't carry you like sorrow, I don't hold you like regret. I carry what I learned from you, and I'm not finished growing yet. You never really left me, not in the ways that matter now. You're in the strength I found inside me, in the softness I allow. I don't mean I'm still waiting, I don't mean I can't move on. You never really left me. You became part of who I am. I used to think that moving forward meant erasing every trace, but some love does not disappear, it simply changes shape. You are not my destination, you are not where I belong, but the woman I became still carries something you made strong. You never really left me, but you no longer hold my life. You're in the courage I discover, not in some unfinished goodbye. I can thank you without reaching, I can love what time has changed. You never really left me, you just learned to live another way. Not beside me, not behind me, just somewhere in the person I became. I learned to trust a little deeper, to say the things I used to hide. I learned that being open doesn't make a heart less strong. And sometimes when I choose forgiveness or give someone room to breathe, I remember how your kindness once brought out the best in me. You are not the reason I am whole, but you help me see what I could be. The best of me still remembers you in every gentler thing I do, in the courage to be honest, in the strength to follow through. The best of me still remembers you, not with longing, not with pain. Some of what your love awakened still lives inside me today. still be grateful for the good I learned with you. You taught me love could listen, could be patient, could be kind. And those lessons stayed within me long after we said goodbye. The best of me still remembers you in every gentle thing I do, in the courage to be honest, in the strength to follow through. The best of me still remembers you, not with longing, not with pain. Some of what your love awakened still lives inside me today. I don't need to hold the past to honor what it gave. Some people leave our lives but leave us stronger in their place. The best of me still remembers you, but my life belongs to me. You were part of my becoming, not the end of who I'd be. The best of me still remembers you, and now I understand love can leave a lasting goodness without asking us to stay. You are gone from my life, but not from everything. I learned to become. We don't belong to the same tomorrow, and I don't ask the past to change. But sometimes I can still remember how naturally you knew my heart. We had a language all our own, a tenderness we never planned. And even though the years have moved us, I still believe it meant something. Not every love is meant to follow every road that life creates. Some are meant to leave a feeling that time can never quite erase. Somewhere love still knows our names, still remembers what we gave. Not as a promise we must keep, not as a reason we should stay. Just a quiet truth between us, something time could never share. Somewhere love still knows our names, even if we've changed. I don't know who you are becoming, or what your heart believes today, but I remember who we were before the distance found its way. There was honesty between us, there were moments without fear, and I don't need to hold them tighter just because you're no longer here. I have learned that letting go doesn't make the feeling small. What was true can stay true even after we lose it all. Somewhere love still knows our names, still remembers what we gave. Not as a promise we must keep, not we've changed. Maybe love is more than staying, more than making something last. Maybe sometimes it survives by becoming part of the past. I don't need you to remember every word the way I do. It is enough that once there was a place where I was known by you. Somewhere love still knows our names, not the people we are now, but the hearts that once believed we could somehow work it out. I can bless what we once carried without asking it to remain. Somewhere love still knows our names, and that is enough for me today. We don't have to go back. We don't have to forget. Somewhere in what we once were, love still knows us yet. We loved before we understood how fear could change a heart. You were trying to find your way, and I was scared to start. We gave each other something real, but neither knew how to stay. We held too tightly to our wounds and slowly pulled away. What we felt was true, but truth alone could not make it survive. I don't blame you, I don't blame me. We were still learning who to be. Right love, wrong time. And sometimes love must leave. I used to wonder what we'd be if we had met years later, with softer pride and steadier hands. Would we have loved each other better? But I no longer chase that life or ask the past to change. What we shared was not a failure just because it could not remain. Some hearts meet too early before they know their own. Love can still be honest even when it cannot grow. Right love, for my heart at the wrong time. I release the life we never had and keep the love we did. I don't need another answer, I don't need another chance. I can leave the ending where it is without rewriting our past. There was tenderness between us, there was truth in what we shared, and I don't have to bring it back to know how much I cared. Some love can stay beautiful without becoming new again. I can love what we were without wanting what we had. Can hold the good between us without reaching for the past. I can love what we were and still let tomorrow come. What we had can stay a memory without becoming what I want. I used to think remembering would keep my heart behind. Now I know a tender memory doesn't have to stop my life. You were part of who I once was, not the future I still need. I can thank the love that shaped me and still choose what comes next for me. I can love what we were without wanting what we had. Without reaching for the past, I can love what we were and still let tomorrow come. What we had can stay a memory without becoming what I want. I don't need to call it forever to believe that it was true. Some love belongs to yesterday and still means something too. I don't want us back. I only want to remember us with love. I used to think when love was over, everything it gave would fade. That once two hearts stopped belonging, nothing beautiful would stay. But I hear you in my courage when I say what I believe. There are parts of how you loved me still alive in how I breathe. Some of what you gave me still becomes a part of me. Your love still moves through me in the kindness that I give, in the way I trust a little more, in the way I choose to live. Your love still moves through me, but it doesn't hold me down. What you gave became a strength. I know how to carry now. You believed in my becoming when I doubted who I was. You taught me not to fear the softness I had always tried to guard. Now I listen more with patience. I forgive without losing me. And sometimes in my better moments, I know where that began. I don't know you who I've become, and you don't own this heart of mine. But love can leave us something that grows kinder over time. Your love still moves through me in the kindness that I give, in the way I trust a little more, in the way I choose to live. Your love still moves through me, but it doesn't hold me down. What you gave became a strength. I know how to carry now. I don't need to keep you close to honor what was true. I don't need another chapter to be grateful I knew you. You became a part of learning how to open, how to stay, and what once belonged between us still brings something good my way. Your love still moves through me, not as longing, not as pain, but in every little courage I was brave enough to gain. Your love still moves through me, and I'm finally free to see what we lost and not erase. What your love awakened in me. You are no longer beside me, but somewhere in the woman I have learned to be. Your love still moves through me. I pulled away when you came closer, pretended I was doing fine. The more I felt you matter, the more I tried to hide. I called it being careful, I called it needing space. But every wall I built around me was only fear in another shape. It wasn't love I doubted, I was scared of what I'd lose. You were the truth behind my fear, the reason I was terrified. You mattered more than I admitted, more than I could hide. You were the truth behind my fear, the heart I couldn't risk to lose. I wasn't running from your love, I was running from how much I loved you. I kept my deepest feelings quiet, thinking silence kept me safe. But every time I held you farther, I pushed the best of us away. Now I know that being open doesn't make a heart less strong. Sometimes fear grows only because we finally found where we belong. You were the truth behind my fear, the reason I was terrified. You mattered more than I admitted, more than I could hide. You were the truth behind my fear, the heart I couldn't risk to lose. I wasn't running from your love, I was running from how much I loved you. I wish I had understood then what I understand today. Love is never made more certain by keeping half your heart away. You were the truth behind my fear, now I finally see. I was scared because your love had reached the deep wasn't afraid of you. I was afraid of how much